Morning everyone. This is Gias Academy, Rampuram, Chennai, giving online and offline course. Helpline is given here. This is CSIR Net, Life Science, Unit 4, Part 2. This class is about neurotransmitters. In Unit 2, let us see what are neurotransmitters. This question is very important in UGC Net for CSIR. So listen very carefully. The human body function is controlled by a network of nerves. They generate and pass the electrochemical signals from one neuron to another neuron through a chemical substance that is called as, or the electrochemical signals are called as neurotransmitters. What you're seeing here is the one end of the neuron. So this neuron is called as presynaptic neuron. What you are seeing here is the vesicle, that is neurotransmitter vesicles, and what you are seeing inside is the neurotransmitter, that is electrochemical signals. These particles are called as neurotransmitters. Okay, and when they come and attach to this neurolemma, that is the membrane which is present in the neuron is called as neurolemma. So this neurotransmitters will be released and that will be received by the receptors which is present in the membrane of the postsynaptic neuron. This neuron is called as postsynaptic neuron, that is the neuron which is going to receive the neurotransmitters are called as postsynaptic neuron. There are the receptors which are present in the membrane, that is the plasma membrane or neurolemma, which receives the neurotransmitters, and this neurotransmitters pass from this area to inside of the postsynaptic neuron. Okay, so this is what called these particles or this electrochemical signals are called as neurotransmitters. Now let us see what is synapse. So what is synapse in the sense? This part is called as the synapse. That is the presynaptic neuron and the postsynaptic neuron. In between these two there is a cleft. Okay, there only these neurotransmitters are released, and from here it moves to the next neuron through this cleft. Okay, so this part is called as, this area is called as synapse. So synapse is known as having a presynaptic neuron as well as a postsynaptic neuron that release as well as bind the neurotransmitter. So this is the site. This site is called as synapse. And next question, what we are going to see is, what is nerve impulse? This is a very important question in this. How the message from one neuron passes from one to another neuron and from here to another neuron. So that through a nerve impulse only. So what is that nerve impulse in the sense? It is an electrical charge that travels along the membrane of the neuron. That is, on the membrane of this neuron, then it contact to the next neuron. There on the membrane, this electrical charge travels. Okay, so this is called as nerve impulse. See, what you are seeing here in this pictures are the network of neurons which is in the nervous system. Okay, brain as well as the spinal cord and other part of the peripheral nervous system as well as the central nervous system. This is how, see, this you can see this is the axon, and this neuron is multipolar neuron. It is having different poles, and through these dendrites or the axons they connect with another neuron. You can see here very nicely there are 5 poles. This is 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5. They connect through this axon or this pole to the another neuron. This is very important thing. What we are going to see is what is happening in the synapse. Okay, so this is the connection between the two neurons. This is axon and this is the terminal, axon terminal Okay, this is cyton actually. This is the axon and this is nerve terminal. And here this cyton is connected with this end, nerve terminal of another neuron. Okay, this is the axon of the neuron. And this is connected to this dendrite. Okay, this part is enlarged here and it is shown. And I told you already the nerve which is releasing the neurotransmitters are called as presynaptic neuron, and the neuron which is receiving the neurotransmitters are called as postsynaptic neuron. Okay, and you can see the neurolemma, that is the plasma membrane of the neuron, possess so many sites. Okay, what is these sites are called as ion channel receptors. These are ready to receive this neurotransmitters. Okay, and this area, the space which is present between the presynaptic neuron and the postsynaptic neuron are called as synaptic cleft. Here only the transaction takes place. The releasing as well as the receiving takes place at this synaptic cleft. Okay, what you are seeing here is the voltage gated calcium channel which allows the calcium ion to pass inside. Okay, and this is the synaptic vesicle which carries the neurotransmitters. When it comes and contact with this neurolemma, then they release this neurotransmitters into the synaptic cleft. Okay, that will be received by the ion channel receptors. These are the ion channels receptors they receive. Okay, next one we can see the types of neurotransmitters. There are three types of neurotransmitters. It is classified most probably. The first one is amino acids. Okay, amino acids neurotransmitters. What are these neurotransmitters in the sense? Glutamate, aspartate, deserine, gamma aminobutyric acid and glycine are coming under this amino acid neurotransmitters. Okay, next one is monoamines and other amines. These categories include dopamine, epinephrine, norepinephrine, histamine, serotonin and others. Please make a note of these. These are very, very important. The questions comes from here, so make a note. Okay, amino acids, monoamines and other in this category: acetylcholine, adenosine, nitric oxide and anandamides. Okay, so these are coming under the third category. So first category is amino acid, second one is monoamines and on as well as the other amines, and the third category is acetylcholine, adenosine, nitric oxide as well as anandamides. Okay, so if the question comes, what are the thing which is coming under amino acids in the sense, if they give glutamate, aspartate, deserine, gamma aminobutyric acid as well as the glycine, you can mention that one. If it is monoamine in the sense, monoamines as well as the other amines in the sense, the categories which one is dopamine, epinephrine, norepinephrine, histamine, serotonin and others. Okay, and these names you have to keep in mind. And the next one, other category in the sense, acetylcholine, adenosine, nitric oxide and anandamides are the third category. Okay, and what you are seeing here is the presynaptic neuron and this is the postsynaptic neuron. Here the glutamate is released outside. Okay, so this vesicle carries the glutamate amino acid. And the monoamines, the second category is monoamines and other amines, isn't it? That is dopamine, epinephrine, norepinephrine, histamine, serotonin and others. And vesicular monoamine, see what you are seeing here is the monoaminergic axon or the dendrite. It may be an axon or dendrite. They are releasing the precursor of the monoamine. Okay, then it is released outside, and the next one, the synaptic receptors are receiving. You can see here there are two types of receptors. These are transporters. Okay, these are called as transporters. This one is the transporters. It is given here. So how many types of transporters are there in the sense? VMAT1, VMAT2. What is VMAT1 and VMAT2 in the sense? Vesicular monoamine. Okay, monoamine transporters. Okay, so vesicular monoamine transporters 1, vesicular monoamine transporter 2. If you come here, this one, what is this in the sense? These are also monoamine transporters. They are DAT, NET, SCRT. So if the question comes, what is DAT in the sense? Dopamine transporter. NET in the sense non-epinephrine transporters, and SCRT in the sense serotonin transporters. So these points you have to keep in mind. Okay, what are those points? Monoamine transporters are DAT, NET, SCRT. DAT, NET and SCRT. Okay. So these names you have to keep in your mind, and VMAT as well as VMAT 1 and VMAT 2, that is vesicular monoamine transporters, vesicular monoamine transporter 2, monoamine transporter 1 and monoamine transporter 2. Okay, so this one keep in mind, this is very important. Next, if you see, this is the acetylcholine binding site. Here only the acetylcholine bind, and it is released outside through this gate. Okay, you can see this gate. This gate is closed now. When it is excited or it receives any other receptor in the sense, then it will be open. If it receive any ion, then it will open and allow the molecules or the ions to or the acetylcholine to pass inside. Okay, or the acetylcholine passed outside, that is released in the cleft. Okay, and you can see this is a acetylcholine, formula of acetylcholine. Make a note of it. It may be asked by giving other chemical formula, other chemical structure, and they ask which is the correct chemical structure of acetylcholine. In the sense, you have to answer. Okay. What you're seeing here is the exact transport of the acetylcholine. So how the acetylcholine is releasing from the presynaptic neuron to postsynaptic neuron. Here it is muscle. Okay, so it may be to the neuron or to the muscle. So here it is releasing, that will be coming to this area, and there are so many receptors, that is acetylcholine receptors are present in the muscle. They receive these neurotransmitters and send inside the muscle to do the exact function for this message is carried out. See, for example, a man is chasing by a dog. In the sense, the man has to run fastly as he can, isn't it? So at that time, the brain is releasing the neurotransmitter to the muscles, that is muscles which is present in the hand as well as the legs, to run as fast as he can, isn't it? So that has to be done. So the acetylcholine is secreted and it is transported to the muscles to do the work. See, what are regulators? Some drugs are targeting neurotransmitters as they approach and change their whole system. For example, cocaine. Cocaine acts on dopamine and blocks its reuptake and puts it back into the presynaptic neuron and leave the neurotransmitter molecule in the synaptic gap for a long time. Okay, so what is that? Cocaine. You have to keep this one in mind. Cocaine acts on dopamine and blocks its reuptake. So, when the dopamine remains the synapse for a longer time, neurotransmitters continue their binding to the presynaptic neuron, which elicit a particular type of emotional response. If the dopamine remains in the synapse for a longer time, the neurotransmitters continue their binding on the postsynaptic neuron, which elicits a particular type of emotional. See, this is normal neuron. This is Parkinson affected neuron. What happened? The dopamines are not releasing properly. What are regulators? Some drugs are targeting neurotransmitters as they approach their and change their whole system. Let us take an example. It is cocaine acts on dopamine and blocks its reuptake and puts it back into the presynaptic neuron and leave the neurotransmitter molecule in the synaptic gap for a long time, which chemical in the sense it is cocaine, which acts on the dopamine and makes the dopamine to remain in the synaptic gap for a long time. So when the dopamine remains in the synapse for a longer time, that is the neurotransmitter continue their binding to the postsynaptic neuron, which elicit a particular type of emotional response. Okay, a drug known as Prozac. This is also very important. See here which drug it is: cocaine, which acts on the dopamine and makes the dopamine to remain on the postsynaptic neuron or the synaptic gap for a long time. Here, the Prozac, which acts as a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor, this drug blocks the reuptake of serotonin. This cocaine is on dopamine, Prozac is on serotonin. Make a note. These are from different parts of the important notes. So make a note of it. This is very important question which comes on your CSIR UGC Net. So Prozac acts on serotonin, cocaine acts on dopamine. And by the action of this presynaptic cells, this act increases the amount of serotonin in synapse, which allows their long time to remain. So the potential of the natural serotonin release will be affected. And next important point what we are going to see is the drug AMPT, which prevents tyrosine conversion to L-dopamine. This drug, that is AMPT. What is AMPT in the sense? Alpha methyl paratyrosine. This drug, which prevents the tyrosine conversion to L-dopamine. And another one, Resprin, prevents the storage of dopamine into a vesicle. So this drug which prevent the storage of the dopamine. And diphenyl drugs which inhibit monoamine oxidase activities, so the level of the dopamine is increased. The drug named diphenyl which inhibit monoamine oxidase activities, so why the level of dopamine is increased. Some disease also affects the neurotransmitters like Parkinson disease, in which failure of dopaminergic cells occurs in deep brain nuclei. So this point is also very important. Make a note of it. What is that in the sense? The neurotransmitters will be affected. A disease like Parkinson disease. Here, the failure of dopaminergic cells occurs in deep brain nuclei. You can see here, this is normal neuron. The normal secretion of dopamine occurs, that will be received by or it moves from one side to another side. Okay, this is normal neurons which secretes the dopamine. But where it is Parkinson disease, the neurotransmitters will be affected and the release of dopamine is very, very less. Okay, very, very less. And how this Parkinson disease in the sense you can see here, see the postural instability. This person is affected by the Parkinson disease. So we can see the person, he can't stand straight. Okay, this is rigid. This one is very rigid, the backbone, and the brain is also affected. And the hands are tremor. So this is the position we can see, and the person cannot walk erectly and cannot walk like a normal person. Okay, so this is Parkinson disease. The brain also affected. This is due to the effects in neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters will be affected. So a particular amount of dopamine is not able to produce, that causes the Parkinson disease. Next, you can see here, there are three neurotransmitters, very, very important neurotransmitters. These are, one is dopamine, another one is norepinephrine, and the third one is serotonin. Okay, dopamine in the sense, dopamine, norepinephrine, serotonin are the neurotransmitters. They also act as hormones. Okay, what the hormones do function, just like that these three neurotransmitters also functions. Okay, so dopamine, what are the importance of this dopamine? In the sense, clarity. If it secretes in a normal amount, the person will with full clarity, and he is motivated always by the self motivation, and never feels or never excited, or else never feel for anything if anything bad thing happens. Okay, so he motivates himself always if the dopamine is in a normal amount. And working memory, he has a good memory in the working place, as well as in any work he handled, that work will be done perfectly if the dopamine amount is in proper. If it is not, that person has ambiguity, and hyperactive he is, and very passive memory he has. Okay, coming to this norepinephrine. So this norepinephrine, the person, if it is secreted in a normal amount, in the sense, the person with a good certainty, determination, and recall memory is also very very good. Otherwise, if it is very less, in the sense, he is always doubtful, obsession, and dementia. Okay, that person possesses all these things. And serotonin, if you take, serotonin gives satisfaction in life. Okay, it is responsible for the satisfaction of the life. The person is with full relaxation, relaxed, always he feels relaxed. Okay, pleasure and learning memory will be very very good. And if it is secretes in less amount, in the sense, the person is affected with the insomnia, anxiety, and disability. Okay, so these are the things which happens when the dopamine and norepinephrine and serotonin, which secretes in a normal amount or in a less amount. Okay, these are the things which has given here. So how we have to take, in the sense, we have to give very importance, we have to keep all these three in a proper level, in the sense, amount of the food material, the balanced food we have to take, and we have to take care about our happiness, our mood, our balance. Our mood should be always balanced, and we have to take care about our health as well as physical and mental health. Okay, so if you take, and if you be always happy, in the sense, this dopamine secretes. Okay, we have to be happy. And this is the chemical formula of the serotonin, and this is chemical formula of the dopamine. Let us see the next one. In important thing is dopamine. Dopamine is very very important for a human body. If dopamine secretes in our body, in the sense, the person will be very very happy. So keep your self always happy. If you feel very happy, or if you keep yourself very happy, don't worry about anything what has happened in your life. Don't worry about it. Nothing is going to change if you worry completely or continuously. If you worrying, nothing we are going to lose it. So be happy always, whatever the situation you are coming across. Don't worry about it. Be happy always. If you are happy, the dopamine secretes in your body, that makes your body very healthy. Okay, and what we call this dopamine is, its role is reward center. Okay, you will go in your life step by step in a high cadre. Okay, so be happy always. And in many body functions, including memory, movement, motivation, mood, attention, and more, you will get if your dopamine is in good amount in your body, if it is secreted. Okay, and high or low dopamine levels are associated with the disease, including Parkinson disease, restlessness, restless leg syndrome, and attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Okay, ADHD, in the sense, hyperactivity disorder. Okay, so if this is not in a normal amount, if it is high or low, these are occurs. What are those? Parkinson disease, restless legs syndrome, and attention deficit hyper disorder. Attention deficit hyper activity disorder. Okay, ADHD. So this one keep in mind. And another one important thing, what is that? In the sense, the dopamine participate in the memory and learning. So if dopamine is secreted in a perfect level, in the sense that person's memory as well as the learning process is very, very good, and that happens in the prefrontal cortex of the brain. Okay, so this is also one of the important point. Coming to the next one, since the discovery of dopamine in plants in 1968, dopamine was found in plant. Okay, plant. So this year, make a note of it. 1968, the discovery of dopamine found in plants. Okay, and endogenous or exogenously applied dopamine improved the tolerance against the several abiotic stresses. This is in plants, okay, such as drought, salt, and nutrient stress. At this condition also, the plant grows very, very well when it is applied. Which one? The dopamine applied endogenously or exogenously. Okay, and another one, if you see, there are also several studies that dopamine contributes to the plant immune response against the plant disease. Okay, if the dopamine present in the plant, in the sense the plant is resist to the disease. When coming to here, see what are the functions of the dopamine in plant. We can see the dopamine enhances the photosynthesis, phosphorylation of chloroplast. It enhances the reproductive organogenesis. It enhances the amino acid metabolism as well as protein synthesis, 3-glycolysis. It also enhances the pre-oxidant activity, pro-oxidant activity. Also, it also enhances the antioxidant activity. The dopamine enhances allochemical. It also enhances hormone interaction, that is ethylene production. So the dopamine is very, very helpful in plant in various ways. So all these ways are given here. So make a note of it. Another important points we are going to see here. In recent years, dopamine has been identified in plants. For example, it is most abundant catecholamine in banana peel. So don't throw the banana peel, just take the peel, and there is a layer. You can remove that layer from the peel of the banana and you can take it. You will get this dopamine abundantly. So banana is a very good one. Okay, during the developing and ripening stages, we can get that peel and we can take it and we can engulf it. Okay, we can eat it. It is very, very good for health, and you will get a dopamine, additional dopamine from this banana peel. Next one, if you see, analysis of potato extracts also confirmed the existence of dopamine and norepinephrine in plants. Okay, analysis of potato extracts. So these neurotransmitters, these are here, they are the hormones. They act like a hormone in plants. Some green algae, Wolvaria obscura, on the North Pacific and Atlantic coast were found to release dopamine into the ocean. Okay, when these algae are present, in the sense these algae are releasing the dopamine into the ocean. So this is also a very important point. Noted. Dopamine mediates many psychological processes in plants. Dopamine was first synthesized in 1910 by George Barger and James Evans at Wellcome Laboratories in London, England. In 1958, Arvid Carlson and Niels Kilap at the Laboratory for Chemical Pharmacology of the National Heart Institute of Sweden discovered the function of dopamine as a neurotransmitter. Then Arvid Carlson was awarded the 2000 Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine for showing that dopamine is not just a precursor of norepinephrine and epinephrine, but a neurotransmitter as well. Okay, so what he suggested, in the sense, after doing so many experiments, he suggested that dopamine is not just a precursor for norepinephrine and epinephrine, but it's also a neurotransmitter. Okay, this is was for that he was awarded Nobel Prize on 2000. And if you are coming here, dopamine production, if you see, the dopamine is produced in several areas of the brain, including the substantia nigra and the ventral tegmental area. Make a note of this area in the brain. These are the areas which secrete the dopamine. Okay, these areas are present in the brain. What is that area? Substantia nigra and ventral tegmental area. These two areas in the brain are secreting the dopamine. And it is a neurohormone that is released by the hypothalamus. Its action is as a hormone that is an inhibitor or release prolactin from the anterior lobe of the pituitary. Okay, this neurohormone, this dopamine is a neurohormone which is secreted by the hypothalamus. And what is the function of this neurohormone in the sense? They inhibit or release prolactin from the anterior lobe of the pituitary. So all these points are collected from various sources. So make a note and use it in a nice way for your examination, CSIR Net. Next one, serotonin. So serotonin also plays several roles in our body, including influencing learning. So serotonin is also very, very important, which influencing the learning, memory, happiness, as well as regulating body temperature, sleep, sexual behavior, and hunger. Lack of enough serotonin is thought to play a role of depression. Okay, if the serotonin is in less amount, it causes depression, anxiety, mania, and other health condition. Okay, you can see here the serotonin, which enhances the production of melatonin that help regulate sleep, and it balances the appetite. It controls body temperature, motor activity, and perspective and cognitive function. Serotonin is very, very important for the perspective and cognitive function. And it intervenes with the dopamine and noradrenaline. Okay, so this is a hormone which is secreted by adrenal gland. So what is the function of the serotonin here in the sense? Intervenes with dopamine as well as the noradrenaline. And next function is which manages our sleep-wake cycle. Serotonin manages our sleep-wake cycle. And the last one is the serotonin enhances the equilibrates the sexual desire. And what you are going to see is how the brain, okay, the brain is made up of a network of neurons, how the signals are moving from one neuron to another neuron through electrochemical signals. Okay, what you are seeing here is the electrochemical signals which moves from one neuron to another neuron. So the neurotransmitters, how they are moving in the sense, you can see here the neurotransmitters are just releasing, and it is coming to the this is the presynaptic neuron. These are released outside, and the neurotransmitters are received by the receptors which is present on the that is post neuron. This is the post neuron. Okay, you can see this one very clearly here. See the nerve impulse. This is the axon, and this is myelinated sheath. What you are seeing here, this is the cyton, and the another cell axon is coming and attached here. Okay, this is the one part of the dendrite. This is the plasma membrane in the sense neurolemma. Okay, neurolemma. This is the plasma membrane that is called as presynaptic cell membrane in the sense this is the part of the presynaptic neuron. Okay, and this is the neurotransmitter. What you are seeing here is the neurotransmitters are present inside the neurotransmitter vesicle, and what you are seeing here is the calcium channel. Now it is opened and the calcium ion is entering inside, and which combines with this neurotransmitter vesicle, in the sense this vesicle moves towards the membrane and there it diffuses and releases the neurotransmitters. Okay, and these neurotransmitters are ready to enter into the postsynaptic vesicle through the postsynaptic vesicle. See, now this gated ion is excited. Okay, these are the gated ions. Now the gated ions are open. So now all these neurotransmitters are passing inside through this, okay, through this membrane, and this is the membrane of the postsynaptic nerve. Now it is passed inside. Okay, so this is how the ions from the presynaptic nerve to postsynaptic nerve, it is moving. Okay, and this is another gated ion which is opened, and the molecules or the ions which is present in the postsynaptic neuron is passed outside. Okay, so thank you so much. Share this video to your friends, those who are preparing for the CSIR Net examination in life science. Thank you so much.